So this is one of the two Kirbys that I currently own. Technically I own three, but one of them's in parts. This is more or less a Franken-Kirby. It's an Ultimate G combined with a G3. Basically, the base and the motor came from a G3. The cord came from a totally different vacuum, and I spliced it into the connector for the Kirby. Bumper right here is from a G3. Totally different vacuum. I actually got that from my vacuum guy. Overall, this machine, I wouldn't say it's in the best condition, but it's definitely not bad. It's definitely a lot better than both of the machines were when I originally got them. I did put a brand new brush roll into the nozzle, and I did a quick and dirty polish job on all of the chrome. Not the best job I've done, but I have no plans on selling this vacuum. But I did change the fan, which being a Generation 3, it had the plastic gray fan in it, and it was more or less chewed up, so I just decided to change that out. Resealed it, redid it, cleaned it up some around here. You can kind of see some of how it used to be, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. The headlight currently does not work. Not much of a surprise there. It didn't work on the Ultimate G either. Now the story with this vacuum, I had the Ultimate G first and ended up using the motor that was in that machine to replace a bad motor on somebody else's machine that I did a service on. Now I ended up charging him a total of about 120 bucks for that service because I did have to replace his motor and his fan with good used ones, essentially. And I did a quick and dirty cleanup on that one and basically just got it back into working condition. He burned the old motor out on that vacuum, which was also ironically a Generation 3. But this machine, both cords I had were in very rough condition. You can kind of see down here how the cord used to be. Now I'm not going to leave this cord like this. Eventually I am going to replace it, but I did want to go ahead and use this machine, and I wasn't going to sell it, so I didn't really worry about it too much. But there is no bare wire. It's just the wiring shielding that's showing, so there's not really any risk of electric shock. But this cord is definitely okified. I did have to splice the replacement cord, which I think came from a Hoover, with some butt splices into the gray Kirby cord. So there's one unfortunate thing about these machines is when you have to change a cord out on one, you have to get one from another Kirby because they use their own proprietary connector. Now the transmission from this one is from the Ultimate G. The one that was from the Gen 3 that the base itself came from wasn't bad. I ended up saving it, but it was making a lot of clicking noises that oil didn't seem to help. This one I did oil and lube up, and it's very quiet. The outer bag on this one I do want to replace as well because it's not exactly in the best condition. But other than that, this thing is functional. And you can see back here the Generation 3 parts, I guess you could say, of it. But the transmission works fine. Everything, basically anything from the Gen 3 to the Avalier, I believe almost 100%, if not all of it, will interchange between all three of them. Now there are some things that are different, like the Ultimate Diamond Edition has the 2-speed switch that sits right about here, or it might be on the other side, but I think it's on this side. And obviously you can use, say, a top cover from Diamond Edition on any other Generation Kirby vacuum, but unless you hook up that switch, it's obviously not going to do anything. Or if you take the switch out, it's going to have a hole in it. So stuff like that, there are differences. But for the most part, everything will bolt up and line up, I've found on my own, at least all the stuff I've had to do. So overall, it's not too bad. I did clean this machine up as best I could on the outside. The inside, I did have the motor out. Obviously, I wanted to clean up everything and make sure everything was in working order. It actually wasn't that dirty. The insides of these Kirby's, these whole machines actually aren't considered sealed machines. So it's kind of annoying, but when you get one of these and you service one, there's always going to be crap inside of the body. It's just the way these are. They do a great job cleaning, but that is one of the minor annoyances I have with them is every time I get one, I always have to thoroughly clean it. There's really no way around that. But the trade-offs are it's a Kirby and it's probably the best vacuum cleaner out on the market right now as far as purely cleaning carpets goes. So enough of me babbling. Let's go ahead and plug her in, let you guys hear how she runs. As you guys can hear, it runs pretty well. There's really no issues in, its functionality. It's a pretty good vacuum for what it is. I think I'm going to end up keeping this one. At least I don't have any reason to sell it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and stay tuned for more.